My toxic aunt runs a reverse harem of ex-husbands, and she just evicted my sister from a house she doesn't even own. Buckle up, because if you thought your family had drama, you haven't met mine. I've talked before about my sister and how she systematically blew up her own life with a laundry list of terrible choices, alcohol, and drugs. Well, recently she decided she needed a fresh start. She packed up and moved 8 hours away to another state, relocating to our grandparents' second home, smack in the middle of absolute desert nowhere. To make things spicier, my sister dragged a guy way younger than her along for the ride. Shockingly, he didn't stick around too long before bailing. Left to her own devices, my sister actually managed to score a job out there at a local truck stop. Now, let's be real. My sister is an entitled, narcissistic conspiracy nut, but if there's one thing I'll give her credit for, she is actually damn good at that kind of work. She was thriving until my bad aunt stepped in and got her fired by filing a totally bogus complaint with her boss. Let me give you some crucial family lore. I have 2 aunts. We literally just refer to the older one as the bad aunt. My mother hates her so much that she refuses to even let the woman's name be spoken in her presence. Why? Because the bad aunt was the ultimate golden child, and my good aunt was the baby of the family. My poor mother was the middle child and went through absolute hell. To this day, my grandparents swear up and down that there was zero favoritism, which is a hilarious lie. Want proof? Growing up, they literally used to buy a specific brand of shampoo only for my bad aunt, and my mother wasn't even allowed to look at it, let alone touch it. If you want a mental image of the bad aunt, picture Eric's older sister Lori from that 70s show. But old. Honestly, she stayed surprisingly youthful looking until she hit about 60. Then, boom, it was like she aged 20 years overnight, and now she walks around with a hunch. So, back to the desert house. Whenever my grandparents aren't there, the bad aunt acts like the undisputed queen of the property. And here's where things get genuinely unhinged. She has moved 2 of her 3 ex-husbands into the house with her. Yes, you heard that right. My grandparents are deeply conservative, highly outspoken people who preach that couples shouldn't even live together unless they're married or engaged. Yet somehow, my bad aunt is out there running her own personal reverse harem under their roof, and they just look the other way. She's been married and divorced 3 times, so at this point, who knows? Maybe she'll track down ex-husband number 1 and recruit him to join the commune too. How she pulls this off is the 8th wonder of the world to me, because she's not exactly a looker anymore. But let's talk about the men. Ex-husband number 2 is a total maniac, which is exactly why they got divorced in the first place. Ex-husband number 3 is a massive simp and a total pushover. She actually eloped with him back in the day, which was one of the only times I have ever seen my grandpa genuinely, furiously angry. So how did my sister get thrown out of a house the bad aunt doesn't even own? Well, ex-husband number 2, the maniac, completely lost his mind and actually attacked my sister while she was driving. Big mistake. My sister might be small, but she is ridiculously feisty, and she ended up breaking his nose. You would think the aunt would take my sister's side against the guy who attacked her in a moving vehicle. Nope. The bad aunt kicked my sister to the curb for hurting one of her men. My sister ended up living in her SUV in the desert for about a week before she finally got desperate enough to swallow her pride and reach out to us. Our parents wired her what little money they could spare to help her survive. Once my mother found out what happened, she drove out to see her parents and absolutely reamed them out. She tore into them for letting this chaos unfold and for allowing a literal violent maniac to live in their house. But true to form, my grandparents have done absolutely nothing about it. Personally, I have a really hard time feeling sorry for my sister after everything she has put our family through over the years. But honestly, when you stick 2 entitled, narcissistic women who absolutely thrive on drama under the same roof, explosive garbage is going to happen. Eventually, someone forced the bad aunt to let my sister back inside. They don't even live in the same part of the house anyway. My sister has her own apartment down in the basement, so they only interact when absolutely necessary. Through all of this, my grandparents are useless. They live their lives with permanent rose-colored glasses superglued to their faces. They excuse it when people they love do terrible things, and they have an infuriating habit of only hearing exactly what they want to hear. Case in point, I was on the phone with them recently, and I made a passing comment. I said that if I ever lost everything here, I'd probably move out to where their second home is just to start completely over. Somehow, in their delusional minds, they reimagined this sentence to mean, I will gladly pack up my truck and transport all of my sister's belongings out to the desert for you. I only found out about this because I caught wind that they were bragging to people about how thrilled they were that I was helping move my sister's stuff. I immediately called them to set the record straight. I told them they were mistaken. My grandma snapped back, "You did say that." I had to slowly and painfully explain in extreme detail exactly what I had actually said. Cue the thunderous, heavy disappointment from their end of the line. My grandpa chimed in, saying he could have sworn he heard me offer to drive her stuff out there. Apparently, my previous call with my grandma had been on speakerphone without my knowledge. Whatever. I didn't let their guilt trip get to me for a second. Aside from the sheer audacity of the mix-up, my old truck's head gasket was literally on the verge of blowing anyway. If I had tried to make a 16-hour round-trip drive in 1 or 2 days, the engine would have blown, and I would have been stranded in the desert with my sister, my bad aunt, and her harem of ex-husbands. And honestly, I'd rather walk into traffic.